Sagittarius, this is going to be your March 2019 general reading. Sorry these are coming out so late. I have a ton of things going on all at the same time, so it's hard to juggle everything. I hope you can understand. Everyone's reading should be out for March. The love readings and general readings should be all out in the next couple of days. And in the middle of the month, I'll be doing random messages from the universe. You'll have to pardon my hair. I recently got my hair cut, and so I'm having fun doing weird things with it. So hopefully it's not too distracting for you, because the most important thing is that you see your cards. So I will show you your cards. This is for Sagittarius rising, sun, and moon for March. And as usual, I'm using the Spiral Tarot for your basic layout. And this month for clarifiers, I am using this wonderful, amazing oracle card deck called the Enchanted Map Oracle Cards. And I have fallen in love with these. I love these. March has been so fun so far, even just working with these. So, of course, this may or may not resonate for you. So if it doesn't, you may want to check out your other two out of your rising sun and moon, see if any of those apply more. I found it's just fun to watch all three regardless. Hopefully this will resonate for you though. So here we go. Your central experience for March is the Wheel of Fortune. Pretty nice central experience for March. And here he is again. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you've been watching me for a while, then this will seem very familiar to you. Your challenge this month is the Five of Swords. I don't know why, but it seems like you're coming away from this finally. So, see, the Five of Swords has been hovering around you guys for a little bit now. Off and on for months, really. What is helping you is the Hermit at the root of your being. You have the Ace of Swords in your recent past or what you're coming away from. If you hear snuffling noises, it's my dog that's right next to me on the couch. So what you're coming away from is the Magician. Your best possible outcome or highest potential for this month is the World coming up for you in the future, near future. You have the Seven of Wands. You right now are the Queen of Cups. In your surroundings, you have the Seven of Pentacles. Your fear is of the Five of Cups. And your general outcome is the Lovers. So we'll see. Here we go. Your central experience for March is the Wheel of Fortune in with a card that is called, it's hard to move them where you don't get the glare, is Mountain. So, interesting. Well, what I'm getting is that you have most definitely had goals or things that you have been striving towards. This striving towards your goals may have taken longer than you would like, or it may have been more difficult than you thought it would be, or something about this mountain has been a challenge. It's interesting to me that this mountain, not only could you climb to the top of this mountain, you could also go within it because there's an open doorway that's the mountain's mouth. And it reminds me of old-time fairy stories of going how the fairies live underneath the mountains and inside of hills. And the entrance to the cave that goes into the middle of the mountain could be, this mountain card is making me feel that it's a rite of passage, or it's some kind of challenge that if you can overcome the challenge or go through the challenge, you can come out stronger and more powerful than you were before. But something about it involves hard work or involves some kind of an initiation. And when you climb to the top of a mountain, the reward that comes from all of the hard work that comes from climbing a mountain is that you get the highest vantage point that you could possibly get. You can see the land all the way around the mountain. You can have a bird's eye view of what is surrounding you and be able to see things that normally you wouldn't be able to see down on the ground. When you go inside of the mountains and into caves, into the dark places inside of mountains, you can sometimes find fairies, you can sometimes find jewels, or gemstones, or diamonds, or gold, or rubies, or amethyst. Treasure inside of yourself. And it seems as if you have been through some kind of an initiation that has involved a lot of hard work and strength and perseverance. But it seems to me with this Wheel of Fortune that you are on your way down off the mountain, or you're coming out of the cave now, and that you have already been through this rite of passage, or you have just finished it. And so you feel more accomplished, you feel stronger, you feel more capable, and perhaps you're walking away from this mountain with some treasures in your pocket. And so things are, now that you have been through this initiation, Mercury retrograde, now that you have been through this initiation, you have proved to the fates that you have not given up, and now you can take your newfound treasures or internal gold that you have found, and you can utilize that in order to create new things in your life. And you will have much luck. There's a lot of movement this month. If things haven't been moving recently, they're definitely moving now. You should start to notice lucky, fortunate incidents or things that come to you this month that may open up doorways to opportunities for the future. It may even be that the fates are bringing you to the sacred mountain for you to get a higher vantage point of things, or even to find your own inner riches concerning something that you're trying to do now. Luck is on your side with this mountain card. So your challenge. Is the Five of Swords in with Dry Desert. The only other person so far that has gotten the Dry Desert is Aries. I don't know if you guys are involved with Aries people, or either have been having a struggle with an Aries, or an Aries is an ally for you because they have already been through this, whatever it is that you're going through now. Your challenge is that you have decided to walk away from conflict. You can imagine the person that this man has knocked off the boat either has a choice to swim and possibly find an island or some other thing or a rock or something to cling to, or they have the option of clinging onto the very same raft that they were just knocked off of. Either way, it's a precarious situation and they're not sure if they're going to really be able to make it. But to me, it seems as if the person who has been knocked off the boat has decided to swim away or walk away, and they have found themselves in a dry desert. There may be some difficult things going on in March for you where you feel like you don't have what you need, as in water. This person in the dry desert is thirsty and needs water. Or finds themselves in a barren wasteland, not really sure which way to go or what direction to go to get out of there. I'm getting that you have walked away from conflict. You have decided that some kind of a situation is just not worth trying to salvage because it just doesn't seem to be resolving. And you have rather than stay in that situation, you would even rather be wandering around in a dry desert without water than being in that situation. And so you may be somewhat at a point where you have to think about where you're going next. What direction do you go in? How do you get out of the dry desert? How do you completely walk away from this situation without feeling like you're all alone in this situation? So this is your challenge is, okay, now that you've walked away from conflict and you realize that that is just not salvageable, where do you go now? What can you utilize now to get someplace much better? Or you may be struggling with feelings of being alone or isolated. You would rather be alone than be surrounded by jerks. So this is your challenge. You have to get resourceful. So what is helping you? You have the Hermit and you have movement. I'm seeing that you're definitely going someplace, and the further away from whatever that strife was, or difficulty, or a difficult situation, possibly involving other people, it may just be a feeling of being in a difficult situation or having difficult energy follow you around a little bit. You have most definitely walked away from it. Now what's helping you is that by searching with clarity your environment and within yourself, you will find the right answers that you seek. You will know what to do and you'll find clarity in the situation. Interesting. This Hermit is on top of a mountain by herself, and she's looking down on the valley below with a certain particular kind of lantern that helps her see things from a higher or a greater vantage point than before, where she's not in it anymore. She's taken herself away from the village up onto the top of the mountain to see things from a higher perspective or to get clarity. And you have the Mountain card with the Wheel of Fortune as your central experience for this month. You can imagine that this hermit is on top of this mountain, and this hermit is what is helping you. And with this hermit, you have movement. So by taking some time out or getting away from certain things, you will be given what you need along the way, as long as you are walking away from wherever you were before, where there was that conflict and dry desert. This movement with the ostrich, the ostrich is not in a dry desert. It does look like the ostrich is in some kind of flat lands that don't have much brush, but there is some kind of a tree in the background and there is brush on the ground. So it's not completely a dry desert. And it looks like this ostrich is going someplace. There's also the hot air balloon and there's the movement of the windmill on top of the bird. And so it seems like the further along you go, away from whatever that was difficult, where you felt like you didn't have what you needed, each step that you take away from that, you'll be given something that you need. whether you need water. If you need water, all of a sudden you'll move out of the dry desert and you'll find water to drink. If you need to soar for a little bit, you could imagine whoever is in that hot air balloon landing and letting the ostrich hop on, and that way the ostrich can go a lot faster. And again, there's something about a high vantage point where you're seeing things from a larger way of seeing things, where you can see how things are connected, where things are. If you're going someplace from a high vantage point, you can see where that is, even if it's far away, where you can have a greater sense of direction of where you're going. But in any way, it seems as if you have gotten the clarity and you have gotten the information that you need in order to know that this is exactly the right thing for you to be doing, is to be moving forward or moving away from where you have been. And there are much better things to come where you're going than where you have been. So this is helping you. This could also even be a vacation or a trip where you get away from your normal surroundings in order to see things, see your potentials, and to see what you could have if you decided to go in a particular direction. At your root, you have the Ace of Swords in with Moonlight. And I'm getting that you're taking, again, some alone time. Between the hermit up on the mountain and the movement and the person being alone in the desert, and now this fairy being alone in the Moonlight card, although technically she is not alone, because she has an owl flying by and she has the moon to keep her company. Notice that there's an hourglass on the ledge next to her, and the moon is shining on her. But what I'm getting is, by spending moments alone or having some quiet alone time, Spirit, you'll be able to hear Spirit more loudly than when you're surrounded by people or situations. By spending some quiet time out in nature or out on your porch or in your bedroom, wherever you happen to be, by spending some alone time, you will receive messages, you will receive clarity, you will receive illumination, possibly concerning some things that you were in the dark about before or that you were trying to make sense out of before. Now you are getting illumination. Even though this fairy seems a little melancholy or a little bit like she's thinking very deeply about things, possibly that are emotional in nature or internal for her, the moon is blessing her and shining on her and is there for her, and the owl is hooting to let her know some kind of a message. By spending time alone, you'll receive time to be able to heal emotionally, and you'll receive time to hear things more clearly, hear Spirit, and hear your own internal voice or your own intuition, which will give you some kind of a breakthrough or some kind of a grand, great idea, or just newfound, extremely clear clarity. Where by receiving this illumination and by taking care of yourself emotionally and taking some time out, you receive clarity and internal messages that will let you know what decisions to make from here or where to go from here. Or you are starting to see things in a completely different way. You may even receive, I'm getting more messages from Spirit or messages from deep inside of yourself rather than from people with this combination. So it seems very healing to me, if a bit melancholy, but you should receive clarity concerning something. And you will be able to make a good decision. So what you're coming away from is being the magician. And the magician is in with the magical map shifter. And so I'm getting here that you have deliberately changed things around recently, where perhaps where you've been going is different from where you're going now. Wherever you were before wasn't serving you or was not the best for you, or you realized your time there was done. And so now you've been thinking about, okay, where do I go next? What do I choose next? What would I like to manifest? It seems as if you are fully aware of your own ability to manifest based off of your intentions. But your intentions possibly have been changing recently, where you've become aware that, okay, I need to switch some things around. I possibly need to go in a new direction or a different direction than before. And I have all of these different choices of where I could go from here. And it seems as if you have felt very empowered in your ability to choose the right choice based off of your intuition. This seems like, because the magical map shifter is blindfolded, you know, he could even be considered somewhat of a magician himself. He is juggling blindfolded. He is doing something seemingly impossible. And all of his options look quite interesting. It seems as if you have been striking a good balance between leaving certain things up to the universe and realizing your own power in the matter, where you realized, okay, I'm lost in the dry desert, or I have not been where I want to be. Where do I want to go next? And then leaving it up to the fates after you initiate certain things or put certain things into motion. So this is where you've been. Your best possible outcome. You have the world and you have flying. And I'm getting something pretty specific with this. I'm getting that you have been on a long journey. You have now wrapped up this old journey. You have left the old world. A new world is opening up to you. And something about this shift between the old world and the new world, or the past and the future, or what you have learned so far. What you have learned so far, you have come along enough with what you have learned where you can close the door on that, or you realize that you have done everything you could possibly do with that learning experience, and so you're moving on. Something about the shift of these two worlds has possibly been taking longer than you would like, but the good news is that your best possible outcome is that you are flying now, or things are moving a lot faster, freer, and with much less obstacles than before. And you may close the door on the old world, and you may feel as if you have been caught up in the lobby or the in-between place where there are a lot of doors in front of you in a hallway of sorts, and you have been faced with the choice of which door do I open up. Do I want to take the red door? Do I want to take the blue door? Do I want to take the yellow door? Because you have been empowered enough and you've trusted the universe enough to lead you to the right door, it seems as if you have opened up a new door. And now that you have opened up a new door, you're flying now. You're up in the air now. You're going to where you need to go. You are fully in your new world now. You may even be flying someplace in the world. You may be doing long distance traveling where you're deciding to visit or go on a vacation or even relocate to a different country or go to a different land. You may be flying on an airplane to a particular place that you want to go to that's in the world. So this is your best possible outcome. Coming up for you in the future, you have the Seven of Wands in with protecting treasure. This is interesting. It seems as if you've been trying to protect either yourself or someone else, or protect something that you are trying to create in your life from, I got the word meddling. You may have had some people trying to stick their noses in certain things that you're doing where you don't really need other people sticking their noses into this, or trying to tell you how to go about doing it, or trying to attack your new treasure. This is reminding me of taking treasure out of the mountain. Now that you've gone back into the village again with your treasure that you found from your time out, you're protecting your treasure. You don't want just any old fool to see your precious treasure. This treasure could be a metaphor for newfound wisdom, or a newfound sense of purpose, or a new dream that you're carrying out now. And it's important for you to protect this treasure from other people's prying eyes, or opinions, or judgments, or even simply people trying to tell you how to go about doing it, or that you can't do it. This seems old to me. This may be left over from that Five of Swords situation. If you've been in some kind of a situation in the past where you felt attacked, this may be lingering feelings left over from that, where in actuality you're not really being attacked. You just feel that you're being attacked because you're so used to being attacked. I don't know who this is for, but this seems particular for someone or a group of you. Obviously, this isn't going to apply for everyone. But if you have had a long-standing off and on situation where you felt attacked and you have had to persevere in order to get out of that situation, I can see how there would be some lingering feelings in you of being on edge or being ready for an attack because you're so used to it. But the good message of protecting treasure here is that you are safe. Your treasure is safe, you are safe, and your guides are protecting you. If you notice in protecting treasure, the girl is out in the pouring rain. Underneath an umbrella, there's a bird on top of the umbrella, and there's a shining fairy light next to her treasure chest. I feel as if she is protecting her treasure. She's safe for now underneath her umbrella from the rain, but she has the bird and the fairy light to protect her. So you are protected. You are spiritually protected. Nothing is going to happen to your treasure. You don't have to be in this position of defense or needing to guard anything. Your treasure isn't going anywhere. And notice in the Seven of Wands, the person has higher ground in the matter. They're above the other wands. They're in a position of power with this. But there are much better things for you to be doing with your power than having to having to protect your space. You will be naturally protected. You don't have to worry about invasions. Your treasure isn't going anywhere. So if you really do feel as if you need to maintain space, then by all means in the future do that, but don't feel as if you have to constantly do this guarding thing. Trust the universe that you are guarded already, and that you don't necessarily have to take that position. So in the future, or I'm sorry, you right now are the Queen of Cups and listening. And I'm getting something very clear with this. I'm getting that right now you are doing some deep listening to your own intuition. You most definitely are getting hunches, gut feelings, possibly visions or intuitions about things, and even just simply taking a really good deep look at yourself, your world, the things around you, possibly even being a good source of comfort for someone else. You may be able to be a good force for others where you can listen. You're listening well these days. But this is reminding me of, this may even be that you need someone to listen to you. You need someone to talk to about what you're going through, like a counselor or a dear friend, or just to get some emotional support and to know that you have forces around you that are protective and that are good listeners that are there for you or are good emotional backup for you. But these two are reminding me of your Ace of Swords and your Moonlight card. By going within, by spending those alone moments, you will receive illumination, clarity, new ideas, and you're also very much aware at this time of spiritual protection, that you are protected by the forces of the universe and that they're there for you. And so you most definitely need to listen to your own intuition concerning how you go about things these days, and trust your ability to receive the right information, or to see things clearly, or to find ways of taking care of yourself in a really good way. You may find yourself listening to a prominent woman in your life, but I'm getting a real feeling of healing from this. You need to pamper yourself a little bit, or take care of yourself, or do something special that makes you feel nurtured. I'm just noticing now that the listening card, the elephant, is listening to music because there are musical notes around the elephant. If you are a musician, you may receive a new song that comes in your head, and you need to write this down. This is for someone. If you have a music in your head, you need to write it down or memorize it or start performing it, because something about it is meant for others to hear. So, in your surroundings, you have the Seven of Pentacles and you have peaks of joy. What I'm getting is that in your surroundings, things have been growing rather slowly. Things have been taking longer than you thought to see things materialize, based off of your hard efforts or goals or things you would like to see grow in your life. You've been having to wait possibly a little bit longer than you would like. But with this Peaks of Joy card, I'm getting that they sprout, that your waiting is over, that you're starting to see things grow now. You may have even hit moments in the past where you were wondering if the seeds that you planted were duds or not, or fertile or not, because it was taking so long for them to pop up. But it seems as if it's better than you expected, or it starts growing quicker than you thought it would, or thank goodness it's growing now. And this is giving you a great sense of joy, where finally things are happening in your surroundings. I feel as if you've been in between the worlds, and you've been in some kind of a lull of sorts, where you had to go deep within to get some answers. But it seems as if once you come out of the mountain, or off of the top of the mountain with your treasure, when you get back to the village, you see that things are growing quicker, stronger, and faster than they were before. And this is making you feel like you have accomplished something, or that waiting period is finally over with. Your fear. Is the Five of Cups and Storm Fields. To me, it seems like for whatever reasons, every time you felt as if you were going someplace, or something was growing, or your plans were starting to come into fruition, something would come along to kind of throw you for a loop. You know, if you've been growing plants out in your field, and if there's little seedlings and they've been growing slowly, obviously, even though this storm is meant to happen, the storms fertilize the fields and happen for a reason in the natural order of things. But it seems like the storm would come at the worst moment, and all of a sudden everything would be in disarray and you would have to put everything back together again. This has caused you a great deal of disappointment, and this could even possibly have to do with a relationship, possibly, where every time that things started to seem to get better or things were growing in the relationship, some other thing would come along that would mess things up or create problems. Your fear is that this is going to happen again, or that your plants are never going to grow because every time you seem to get stable, something comes along to create chaos or to mix everything up. And you may have even gotten to a point where you started to doubt, thinking, is the universe against me? Or am I not supposed to be doing this? This is just your fear, though, because you have the very same field in the Seven of Pentacles with peaks of joy. This is leading me to believe that the storm is over. The storm will no longer wreck your crops. You will have a period of time of peace where things can grow strong enough where if the storm comes back in the future, it won't be able to do that much damage because your plants won't be small and delicate anymore. They'll be big, strong plants that can withstand a storm. And so rest assured that the storm is over for now, and if the storm comes back again, it'll be far enough in the future where it will no longer upset your plans. Your general outcome is the Lovers. You're up for a major choice, or you're at a crossroads. As your general outcome, your old world is over. A new door has opened. You're flying now, and you have your treasure with you. And the things that were taking so long to grow before are finally growing now. And so now you feel good about making a major choice, now that things have settled down enough for you to be able to do that. This could be a significant relationship or a significant major choice in a relationship. You're feeling more balanced than you have in a long time. You feel more whole, more balanced, and more in touch with yourself. And you most definitely have been receiving messages or have had breakthrough clarity, breakthrough ideas that can lead you forward. Your two clarifiers with that is come together. So this may very well be a significant partnership or relationship where you're strengthened by it and you're able to accomplish more together than you were able to do on your own. If you have struggled with feelings of being left out in the cold or being left out in the dry desert by yourself, it seems as if you have company now and your hermit mode time is over. You're going to be spending more time with other people, whether it's friends, family members, loved ones, soulmates, romantic relationships, a partner, a business partner. Things are coming together as your general outcome. You're feeling more whole, more balanced. You're able to make more sense out of things. You know what you're doing and you know what to choose. And you also have backup and support with this. You may be drawn to a great love. And your final clarifier is the Golden Palace. And so the Golden Palace represents wealth, inner wealth and outer wealth. Joy and happiness that comes from fulfillment, inner fulfillment and outer fulfillment. So if you have been out, first you were up on top of the mountain, then you were out in the dry desert. You were wandering around and moving and deciding what direction to go in. And then you were flying. You've been all over the place. But finally, after all of this, you reach the Golden Palace, which feels like home to you, where you realize your wishes have been fulfilled. You have gotten there. You are no longer lost out in the desert. You have found your spot, and you feel extremely fortunate. You could even look at this as a divine couple that have found each other, where there is some kind of true love here, or love that is true, and you're able to create a golden palace together, or you are truly happy together. And if this didn't have to do with a relationship, you have found clarity, peace of mind, you have your treasure with you, you feel integrated and balanced, you feel whole, and you're able to create because of this. And you're able to find your golden palace within of happiness and joy, and you realize you are out of the storm now. The storm is over and things are getting a lot better. If anything, you have reached fulfillment. And that's reminding me of your best possible outcome, because the World card of can be thought of as reaching fulfillment of an old cycle. It's done now. You're moving on to a completely new cycle that has to do with flying now and finding your golden palace. So hopefully that helped or made sense for you. I wish you all the best. Many blessings to you. And pretty soon you'll see your love readings coming out, and then your random messages from the universe. So till next time, much luck to you. Love you. Bye.